Today's story was written by Reddit user TotallyaNinja. Our colony was financed by nobles seeking a new luxury planet. Our existence was merely to prepare for their opulence. We were fine with that. We left to escape overpopulation and seek a new life on the frontier. We hoped to make a new life for ourselves. Blood, sweat, and tears are spent towards a better future rather than crushed under claw by those around you. We built a community around our communal struggles. We strived to do better, to not repeat the mistakes that led to this choice. We went out of our way to talk, learn, and care about one another. We built this colony. There were others amongst us who joined and helped. Some from the start stayed to help start up and left soon after. Others came and went as they pleased. Some traders, other vagabonds, seeking something new. Some came and upon seeing what we had built, chose to stay. He was among the first. We knew little back then. We know more now. He has not a lick of combat training to his name, military or otherwise. He was an actor, something he would occasionally discuss with enough booze and a merry mood. He helped where he could, and even with his age, he did more work than whole teams. He was daunting at first. Most Terrans, on average, twice our size and 3 to 5 times as dense. Nature and science honed to a T and then tossed across the cosmos with reckless ambition. We feared him so, but as we built our community we realized we had already begun to fail. As a group, we greeted him and thanked him for his help, some of us quite literally quivering, and others are on standby to assist medically should the need arise. He greeted us with a polite smile and thanked us for the welcome. We slowly came to understand he came here to find peace, away from the central systems. His more personal life only came during festivals. With enough booze and cheer in the air, he spoke freely, of his daughter's death, his depression, and how he abandoned his career to come here and fade into obscurity. He carved his own place among us, and we welcomed him wholeheartedly. He was one of us, and that's all that mattered. Years went on, and our colony got bigger and better. We were led by a council of our own vote. Leaders of their division speak for their collective on topics and concern that affect them, solving them together as a collective, leaning on one another in times of need. We were content with our lives until the Cossack declared war on our homeland. We thought that as a colony near the far reaches, we would be fine, but they came for us eventually. We spent 2 years fearing the worst, and it had come to pass. 3 months were then spent in futile resistance. We lost on all fronts, and they soon dropped troops to take this colony for themselves. He declared he would not stand by, and soon vanished into the nearby woods. A foolish decision, and we assumed he went in to take his life on his own terms. Within the week they had taken the colony and converted it into their own base. We were forced to labour to fuel their war machine, our lives once again under the boot of another uncaring force. We had tasted freedom, but we know what it would have cost. So we did our best to shield our young. We bowed low, so they may one day stand tall as we once had the chance. He returned on the 7th month since I came. He had changed since we last saw him. We thought him a ghost until he spoke. A simple greeting, like the colony hasn't changed a day since we last saw him, but his actions spoke differently. He laid before us fresh meat, to feed the young, he said, swiftly vanishing back into the forest, having delivered the parcel of game and greens. We knew it was risky. Meat was for them, not us. We saw the look on our young, and we resolved ourselves. Most of us didn't know how to hunt, so we took watch as others foraged. We fished whilst we did laundry, and we saved what we could for communal broths. Our young was everything. They united us once again, our meals together, creating a powerful bond. He was bonded in spirit. He kept watch over us, diverting attention as we needed it, when we slipped up at first. He continued to provide small game, teaching us in brief whispers and scrawled notes, and stirred the forest to draw focus from them. He had never left, nor did he lay down and die as we had thought. He had chosen to live. He downloaded what information he could while he had time during the initial invasion, survival methods, hunting tactics, and more. He honed his skills like he once did as an actor, embodying the knowledge of the trade through practice and experimentation. He looked vastly different from when we were still a small colony. He used to wear baggy clothing that emanated comfort and warmth. He used to speak in a slow and calm manner, like time itself had chosen to relax and listen to his words. His presence was loud and comforting, even when simply sitting and reading a book on his break. He no longer resembled that. Fear that we painstakingly stripped crept back in when he reappeared, covered head to toe in loose but form-fitting rags, masked in mud and herbs to blend in, wielding a simple spear and shield. He spoke swiftly and softly, always alert and ready to vanish at a moment's notice. He could not be seen nor detected unless he desired to. His spear became fear-inducing. Starting as a simple stick and stone, it eventually came to be much more. The blade was a knife stolen from them right out of their vault, and shaft from the death throes of a broken hollow sim projector meant to teach children. It became our symbol to fight for ourselves, our rights, and our way of life. His shield was originally a spare pot lid, covered in leaves and hide to conceal it. He stole a micro-shield generator and hooked it up to a wrist fembrace. The shield was a hard, light barrier that changed shape as he desired. His intuition and cleverness with the technology were what allowed it to be so useful to him. It came to be our symbol of what we fight for, to protect ourselves and others, using whatever means we must. His spear and shield were more than symbolic. They were tested again and again. Fresh blood was a common sight on his spear. It be fresh game to feed our young, or one of them seeking glory hunting him in his domain. His shield was later on seen often deployed not for himself, but others, sheltering them with both it and his body so they may get to safety first. He bore the burden we feared and failed to take up for far too long. Our spears were pathetic, but they were enough. We bid our times and waited for moments to strike. Ingenuity and cunning made up for skill and strength. They came in all forms wielded by many, slowly striking true and drawing blood here and there. Our shields were flimsy at best, but they served well enough. We bowed our heads to appease their will. We sheltered our young first and foremost, and we shielded them well. Our shields have failed on many occasions, but we bore the strikes ourselves if we must, so our young didn't have to. He led the first charge when the rebellion finally happened. He prepared us, taught us, and cared for us. His age made every wound potentially fatal. He bled first and ate last, leaving it to our young. His wounds were to be the last treated, for he vanished till the rest of us were treated. He led the final charge. With his final breath, his spear pinned their commander to the wall so he could slay him with his shield. Our spears weren't to be feared, for it was our shields we never let go. He spoke loudly for once, a scream of his daughter's name. His reason to live is long lost, but ours would live on. He had moments left when I reached his side. We had won and retook the colony. Unrecognizable as it was when he first went into the forest, he was content with the news, his face at peace. We assembled who we could to witness his final moments. My daughter would have wanted me to do more. I choose to live, to fight, so that you all did not have to suffer what I did. It was a cruel twist of fate I came here of all places. My daughter, bless her soul, may she be proud of who I am. His reason for fighting is now clear. His last words were a final blessing to us and our young. We continued on. We rebuilt our colony. We raised our young and told them of his deeds. We grew and expanded into a hub world, a diverse point for those seeking the new frontier or trade lines going in and out, and a unique culture tied to our local history. His forest is a regional asset. Only the young and their parents may enter, to learn to survive and to hear his tale. The colony was renamed in his daughter's name, for without her we would not be here. Her memory shall be enshrined by us and our young. We bear her memory in place of the one who sacrificed his own for ours. We lay down our spears and shields around the forest, a fence of honour and remembrance in his name. We carry them in spirit, passing them down through the generations, so our young may never be defenceless and uncared for. They bear our spears and shields as we once did, as he once did.